Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. In this video, I'm going to show you some cards, but I'm going to pose a question to you, and I'm reaching out for a little bit of help. I've reached out to a couple other YouTubers to see how they do things, and I think I'm getting ready to make a change in how I collect, and not how I necessarily collect, but how I store and inventory my cards. I have a lot of slab cards. Before I had them slab back in the day, I had them stored alphabetically in 4-row white boxes. And most of you guys that collect know what those look like. And I had them stored alphabetically so I could get out my cards and look at all of Johnny Bench's cards, and it was really easy to pick them up. And that's how I normally look at cards. And so when I store my cards, I store them like that still as they're slabbed. But when I keep track of my cards, I use VCP, Vintage Card Prices. It's an app that most of you know about, and it keeps the values and stuff up to date, and it's kind of neat. And I go to shows, and I had my wife copy off the VCP and print it out for me, and make it to where it fits this book. And so VCP goes by years. This book also goes by years. So, it has all my T206s and all my 1933 Gaudis on the same page. But I store my slabs alphabetically. So if I go to a show, what I usually do, if I pick up a card, I'll come home and I'll write it down in my book because I don't print my book off daily. Don't want to make my wife do that. And then I'll write it in my book, and then I'll enter the card in VCP. That way I don't go again to another show and pick up another card. But I also sell cards, and I sell duplicates and stuff. And sometimes when I'm at a card show, I will forget that I sold a card, so that means I won't cross it out of my book, and then I don't take it out of VCP when I get home on the computer. And sometimes it creates a mess for me. And sometimes I end up going to a show and picking up a card I already have if I don't have that right. Or it just creates a mess. And, right now I'm thinking about storing my cards now alphabetically. The reason I want to do that is I can do inventory a lot quicker that way, and I can do it on a monthly basis or whatever. I can just say, hey, grab all the 1957s out and then look at VCP and see if my book adds up to that. Now what I have to do is I have to get all my cards out of the cases, put them in years on the counter, and then read them off, count them up, and it's a 2 or 3 person project. Last time it took Billy and I and another friend 2 days to do it, and it was pretty tough. And so I'm thinking about doing it. And I posed this question to a few of my friends. I would like to, if you guys have a better solution for me, and I know I'm probably putting too much thought into this, but if you think you have a better solution, please enlighten me with a comment. And so now I want to show you some of the cards I picked up at a show. And I did pick up a card at this show, even though I had my book with me. I picked up a card I already had, and that frustrates me. I'm glad I got the card, and I'll sell it at a show pretty easily, but I probably wouldn't have I probably wouldn't have spent funds on that card had I not done that. So let me turn the phone around and show you some cards. About 25 of them. They're not cards that I picked up at a show, if I had accidentally said that. They're cards that I sent off and got them graded through SGC. And sent it through a guy formerly known as STO Puckhead. Now he's Billy Ballgame. And I hope I got that one right. I always mess up his name. I'm getting old. But let me turn this around. So, this is second year Ozzie Smith. Most of these cards that I have are either players, Hall of Fame player runs. And I do collect Hall of Famers mainly. But, I collect Hall of Fame player runs. I collect post-war rookie Hall of Famers. I collect the 300 Great Cards by Mike Payne. I'm going to show you the book here in a little bit. And I also collect 100 Great Cards. Well, it's John Wade Boggs fan. He has he collects what he chose 100 cards for $100,000, and that's what I'm collecting now. Those 4 different things, and then player runs. And here's an Ozzie Smith player run card that I got out of my 3-row white box. Tony Oliva, 1975. Jim Cott, recent Hall of Famer, 71. A Warren Spahn. I'm getting closer and closer to finishing Warren Spahn, and I'll be excited when I do. I don't have very many Minosa cards, but I'm going to start getting more out of my little white box or picking some up at shows. Eddie Matthews. '76 Brooks Robinson. I'm getting close to finishing Brooks Robinson as well, along with Al Kaline. 65 Kaline. Now, I thought these cards would be a little bit worse than what they are, or I wish I'd have sent these in, 3 years ago or so when it was $8, but I'm getting closer and closer on Al Kaline. And so I grew up a Cincinnati Reds fan, and I have a picture on my wall. I'll show it once more sometime when I update my room tour. But I have a picture of Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, and Pete Rose standing together with an autograph. And I finished all the runs of everybody on that picture except Tony Perez. And so I decided it's time to do a Tony Perez run. And I really like that right there. And I will be really happy to finish those runs because I'm trying to get the autographs of bats for everybody that's on that photo as well. Now, I need 1 card now after today to finishing Harmon Killebrew, his run. And that is a 1974 Harmon Killebrew. And I know I have the 74 here. I just haven't sent it in yet, but maybe the next time I send it in, I will finish his run. And also, I am down to 2 cards to finish Carl Yastrzemski's base run. Now, here's the card that I picked up. That I picked up recently at a show, or I sent this off to get graded, but I also picked one up at a show. It's the Phil Rizzuto. And I already had that card, but I'm glad to have it still. And I hope to not make that mistake again. And another one that I got graded, Warren Spahn. So, those are my player run cards. The 300 Great Cards, I picked up a couple cards. I picked up 2. And I believe now I have 228 out of the 300 Great Cards. I'm going to try sometime to talk Ray from Philly and maybe even Baseball Collector into doing a collaboration on this, because those are the guys that got me hooked on this run. Now, 2 player runs that I finished off with this submission is the 1965 Lou Brock and the 1956 Yogi Berra. Now, I'm pretty excited to mark those 2 player runs off my list, and maybe I can do a tabletop showcase on both those. I know it's just, first world problems worried about how in the world I store baseball cards, but I actually have put a lot of thought into it, and I don't like change very much, but I'm willing to change if it's going to help me with my collection, keep and enjoy my collection. Now, listen, guys, I've been doing this 11 months. I've been doing YouTube for 11 months. My next video, well, I don't know. One of the videos coming up, I'm going to celebrate my year with some kind of video response, and I'm thinking of a giveaway that I can do, that I can have some fun with it. And I appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel, and I really, really appreciate you guys watching the channel. There's guys out there that have thousands and thousands of subscribers, but I think I'm friends with almost everybody that's subscribed to my channel, and so I really do appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for the support, and remember, it's just a hobby. Collect what you like.